the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff.
Welcome to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Let's do this, guys. Welcome to episode 260. And we're talking about the Diamond Nationals. We just had a big weekend. It was a lot of fun, lots to talk about. And I hope all of you guys that were there are tuning in, but also everyone who wasn't wants to know, what we thought of it and how it was. And let's just keep sharing in the comments and let us know who's here and where you're from. Man, I'm still recovering from the weekend. I'm sure you are. Both of us had busy, crazy, hectic weekends, wearing multiple hats this weekend. You were judging and DJing. I was coaching and competing and teaching and lots of different things going on. And so yeah, it's wild, man, but it's a fun sport that we love. So before we get into our first topic about the Diamond Nationals, we want to talk to you guys about the K-Talk Nationals. K-Talk is the official sponsor of Inside Scoop and the Martial Arts Center Network. November 24th. This is a Sunday event, going to be a big, huge event. This is the biggest event in New York in sport karate.
Yeah.
And man, there's it was great to see both Diaz's there this weekend. Not just we love seeing Sue, but it's also fun to see Rick as well. And they were there judging and being a part of this event, as well as they had lots of new faces on their team this weekend. So I'm sure we will get to talking about that later on in the show. But this event is great. You know what? Again, I would still tell people head up there Friday, enjoy Saturday, visiting and looking around at everything in New York City, and then enjoy the event on Sunday, right? Just make a big weekend of it. If you fly in there, try to get your flight Sunday night, or just leave Monday morning. Make it a bigger weekend, right? So,
I think that's for sure. Sometimes, so for so many of our competitors, I don't know what I'm saying. Just fellow competitors, fellow martial artists, right? They're not doing this on their own. Not everyone's an adult who gets there on their own. So many of us competitors have parents and families bringing them here, which is we are a family event, right? We are, right? We'll get into that, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes we want to take another day, we want to do this, but it is fun and it is exciting to make an event of it. And that's why sometimes you got to pick and choose your events. And sometimes, when you have your event, on the weekend before another event, it's just not feasible. I don't see anything nearby, KTOC. I don't see anything next to it. So it's what's our excuse? Thanksgiving's not for another week. We got a late Thanksgiving this year, so let's rock out.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Some of the past winners, they've had just a who's who of martial artists there. We're talking about Bailey Murphy, Cameron Ali, Tyreek Saint, Savannah, Gina Thornton, Gabrielle Rudolph has won there. Cameron Kloss, Joey Castro, Jada Cloud, Derek Williams, Alan Acosta, Amanda Duarte, Aaron Smith. So many greats.
A lot of big names.
I believe Stephen So, one of the years I was there, he won. My student Aaron Bailey from Virginia won the junior grands there one year. I believe Zoe Brown. There's just a lot of great competitors. So it's going to be exciting to see what happens this year at K-Talk. Make sure you guys go ahead and support and be a part of this great event.
Yeah, it is exciting to, have, the biggest tournament, in your state. You always want to do that. You always want to be there. You know,
Right.
um every competitor, if you're in that state, like I'll just say from here, people don't miss AKA for so many reasons. You shouldn't, right? But it's like, no matter what level you're at, like this is it. This is the one you show up for, right? Whether you're in the burbs or you're in the city, like this is the one you go to. It's the same for when it's the one in your state. And for, I guess, people in that tri-state area, that's kind of the big one. So let's make it happen.
Right. Definitely. Awesome. Sam's going to be there. Word. Awesome. All right. So thank you, K-Talk. And our first thing, again, we're talking about the Diamond Nationals. It was a great event. Back in Minneapolis again, same hotel and venue has been for several years. Again, I think she said New York rocks. I think that overall, I like the way it was ran. There was a lot of new things that we were going to talk about. And we'll get into the finals and the way that was set up differently. And just going to tell you this now. It ran really smooth. I think the finals was 2.5 hours.
So it was boom. It was everything you dream of that you say, I wish it could be. They did it.
Yeah. So they did a great job on that. But I want to start out just talking about the way the show ended. The men's weapons final. And we've talked about these three competitors that have, actually all three of them came up together, became, were started with CE and then got on JPM, all three together. And man, it was, they've just continued to level up each and every time. And they keep putting on shows every tournament for the past, I guess it seems like 2 years, maybe 3. And so it's been exciting to see these guys kill it, right? So I feel like it was one of the best men's weapons finals I've ever seen, or at least in a very long time. I compare it to like the days of like Emming and then Kalman going, right? Or even
immediately I thought of the 2011 one, but I think this one was probably better.
Right. Or when you have Reed and Jackson going head to head and Cole,
of course.
Those,
yeah.
And then you're talking about performance with Mike Chat, John Valera, and Carmichael, so it's really cool. So let's just talk about Ben Jones is the first one. This dude kills it, has some fun, just exciting music. And that was another great thing. He even made a post today or yesterday about thank you, Diamonds, for letting us use our music and not having to do the non-copyrighted, because that makes a difference. And the crowd really enjoyed that. And I'm telling you, throwing out so many extra tricks, just the level he was at was on fire, right? Then Esteban comes, and Esteban is a showman. And the truth is, Ben was a showman. Esteban takes it to the next level. And it's like right when you think his form's done, then he adds like 2 more tricks there, right? And so you're just like, how can this get any better? How is Dawson going to deal with the pressure, right? When Dawson comes up, everyone is pumped to see it. And this dude first move out, like does some new technique, right?
Just nutty.
It was just wild. And he just kept getting better and better and better. And I feel like this weekend, a lot of us talked about Dawson and how, all right, yes, he's very successful, but still he's underrated. Like, because I don't think many people realize how difficult a lot of his techniques are, and also how to do those with a sword, right? And just the preciseness and precision he has. So
I kept hearing a buzz about him like all weekend long, like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah,
it was just like, and everybody knows it. Like you walk through the hallways, you kind of walk, from ring to ring, and all the chatter sounds the same, right? And then you just kind of pick up on a little bit like here, and I heard that multiple times, just kind of like positive buzz about Dawson, like, oh man, what if, and maybe he's gonna, and could he do all of that, right?
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like, you could tell he wanted it
Yeah.
the division before that when him and Jake were going for the traditional one, and that to me was one of Dawson's best performances as well. But Jake pulled it off and got his 4th traditional weapons, diamond. So I mean, it was great to see, but it was awesome. I thought it was the perfect way to end the show. Dawson winning it, but just those 3 guys, putting on that clinic. So congrats to those guys. Congrats to so many of I'm just going to stick with the forums right now. Diego winning his 2nd in a row, traditional diamond ring. Congrats to him. Gabrielle Rudolph winning her 1st diamond ring. Let me move this, change what we have here. And also congrats to Caitlin Vong winning her 1st ever diamond. Also in the women's traditional weapons, another back-to-back one, Katie McMillan. She won her 2nd weapons diamond ring in a row. We also have, let's go. Oh, well, here's the thing. Esteban Tremblay winning his without having to, do a form, because he won all the divisions. So that's becoming a trend, and so it's domination, man. So you got to give that guy so much credit and love for that. And then we have Ashley Bartlett and Brett Thomason winning the senior forms diamonds. And then we have Sammy Smith winning her 8th diamond ring with the CMX, women's CMX. So was just action packed, lots of fun. Great to see that, right? One of the reasons why I feel that the diamonds, the nationals, the night show was smoother, shorter, was they did something called the ultimate grand, right? So they took they ran off all of the diamond. I'm sorry, you do your regular grand, and then they had the overall grand where there's the traditional versus the CMX going against each other, right? Well, they went ahead and did that in the daytime as well, right? Again, it makes for a really long day and a long weekend. I think the original plan was they wanted to do the CMX stuff on Friday. It just didn't work out. They did do a lot of the CMX runoffs for the adults on Friday, so that got a lot done. But for what they did was making it where there's a 13 overall, ultimate overall. So that means 13 under, sorry. And, you have 4 different people, and then you have the 14 to 17, 4 different people. And honestly, it was exciting. It was good. Very difficult to judge, especially that 13 under one. There was scores all over the place. Congrats to Piper Miller for winning that. And then in the 14 to 17 one, everyone was going hard, going really into it. And, I don't know if there was a perfect form, everyone had some things here and there. But you just saw that intensity was just high. Right. And so, Judah Sagawa won that one. So, what is everyone's feedback on that? Did they like that setup? What do they think? Is it worth it to do that, to make the show shorter overall? Are we asking our junior competitors to do too much? Are we asking our adult competitors to do too much?
I'm gonna jump in immediately, and I'm doing something I don't normally do, Jeff.
Yeah, right.
Trust me. There was many times I wanted to jump in. And I wanted to comment. But I'm trying. I'm doing my best.
Yeah,
doing my best. But I do want to jump in right now. I hope it's okay.
Of course, go.
Okay. I love the new format, right? Bill Dunkley, Larry Carnahan, John Worley, the crew, everybody, not just those 3, everybody involved. Fantastic plan with this night show. It gives them a lot of flexibility because, yes, when it was done, we did all go, wait a minute, is that it? It's actually, wait, we're done? And we were confused. And kind of excited at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
oh, all right. But now it allows them more flexibility. Now it allows them, like, all right, maybe you have a matchup where it's like, okay, these two juniors are the best junior fighters
Right.
that we've had all year. This is it. The winner of this first place match will decide maybe the winner for the season. And it's like, listen, these guys have gone back and forth. This is the tiebreaker or whatever it is. It allows them flexibility to do something like that. It allows them flexibility to add a separate thing in there. You see what I'm saying? So whereas in years past, like we have time to do anything, right? But I think we're skipping over quite a bit. I want to just make mention of what you and I just talked about just briefly, like what we just talked about, like how the final went with the three. Like I said, like, hey, are they the new John Valera, Mike Chat, and Carmichael Simon?
Yeah, we discussed that. Yeah.
But maybe we skipped over something, which we definitely need to talk about. Or are we going, wait a minute? No, they're the Reed Presley, Jackson Rudolph, and Cole Presley, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're their own, you know what I mean, honestly, because
100%.
what they are doing right now, I don't know if it's been done, especially in weapons. You know what I mean? I agree
100%.
with, Reed and Jackson and Cole. I think in a lot of ways that's the closest to it in the weapons. I mean, we can always go back and say, hey, you know what? Truthfully, it was, Richard Brennan, Mike Bernardo, and somebody else. I mean, there's always ones we can do, right? You could say a lot of that. And usually it does happen that way in threes, especially in forms, right?
Like a Kalman, a Matt Emig, and we just said it.
Mark Canizzato.
Or
even, you're talking about, you could even say, after Carmichael retired, it became where David Douglas stepped into that role, right? And then when Chat stepped away, it was Kim Doe, David Douglas, John Valera. So there's things like that, right? But I definitely think that Dawson Esteban Ben are that, and I tell you, one person I'm excited to see, it was his first tournament back, and I'm excited to see get back into that level because he was before he left for a little bit to go do his cruise trip. That was Rashad. Rashad was in that section with those guys as well. So
I saw a little bit of him. He was looking good.
Yeah, so I think he's excited to keep moving towards next year and
which I meant to talk to him, like, Rashad, I wanted to talk to you about getting some custom shoes, man. I want to get some made.
Right. That's right.
Dude, and like I saw a few of them like around the tournament. I saw Damian Gilbert's custom Paul Mitchell shoes. Like that was really dope. Did you see those?
No, I didn't get to see those.
I didn't see him until the finals. Like he was sitting in front of me, and I just kind of said, I was like, Damon. He was looking around, looked at me. I was like, those are awesome shoes, right? And they really, they are. They're cool. So Rashad, hand claps to you, my friend. Yeah. Let's chat because I want to get a couple pair, two per.
You
see what I did there?
All right, so let's get to.
Wait. No. Because if we move on, we're gonna skip right past this. We were just talking about them, Reed and Jackson. Hand claps to these gentlemen. Reed Presley is now the voice of the Diamond Nationals finals. How crazy is that?
Yeah. Okay. I guess you're right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a big
deal.
So was Worley.
So was Kelly Worley. Yeah. But listen, man, going to that tournament and hearing John Worley's voice, like that's part.
I heard it. I heard it a few times.
You heard what? John Worley's voice a few times?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the transition, man.
Okay.
You might not hear it next year at all. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And Jackson Rudolph being justifiably so, being inducted into the Hall of Fame, like, all right, man. And then they proceeded to have him present like the next 6 awards.
Yeah, well, because
he was like on an escalator, just kind of going off and on.
That's funny. Well, I mean, some of that had to do with the Sport Karate Zone was the ones that sponsored the junior event. So, No, it was great. I'm trying to think some other things as far as forms goes. Who were some people that stood out?
Oh, I got something right now. I have
one person
multiple people come up and tell me this, and she just jumped in the chat right now,
Yeah.
and someone was coming up. Some people who like they pay attention, but they don't pay attention closely enough. Some people were like, "Damn, I didn't realize Gabrielle Dunn Rudolph does Korean form. I didn't realize she could kick that well." And I was like,
what?
duh, right?
Yeah.
Duh. And her Korean form, it was really good. But I use that as a moment to give a plug, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Gabrielle is very damn good, right?
Right.
That's
Right.
number one. Number two, Jeff Doss is very damn good, all right? There's a kicking regimen that kind of comes from him as well, all right? So congratulations to you, Gabrielle. Congratulations to you, Jeff.
I didn't do nothing, but yeah.
Oh, but whatever.
No, she's been working really hard. So excited for her to win. She's been wanting this win for a long time. So
yeah, that was good. Congratulations.
And she has some great coaches. So yeah, for me, man, I tell you one person, especially in the women's weapons, she ended up not making it to the final, but she had 2 great wins. And that was Andrea. Okay, Andrea from Competitive Edge. Man, she killed it with her bow. She was on fire and won the first 2 weapons divisions of the evening. Again, beating someone like Sammy Smith, beating Sarah, beating a lot of those high-level competitors. In the end, she had to drop in the runoffs to where it was Sarah and Caitlin Vaughn, and that was an exciting one. And I tell you what, congrats to Caitlin Vaughn. This is her first one. She's from the DMV area and another great kicker and Korean style competitor. So it was great to see her do that. So again, that's her first diamond, but I think the second one from her school as Josh, won, I guess, almost 20 years ago. 2004, 2005. Yeah. I don't think it wasn't 4. It was 2005 or 6. So yeah, it's kind of crazy,
That's
right?
Wild. Yeah.
But all right. So I have to give props to her, to Andrea, to Caitlin Vaughn.
It was 2008. You're right, Andrew. It was 2008.
Oh,
and that was that form that day. That was impressive. That was damn impressive. And that was a lineup that he beat too. It was impressive.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. 2005 was Marcel, right?
No, 2005 was Steve. 2006 was Marcel.
Okay, got it. Those are some years I missed. So
I got you.
All right. So, who are some other people, guys, in the comments? Mention some people.
We have been pretty forms heavy so far, so let's bring in some combat martial arts.
Well, we're going to talk about that. That's what I'm saying. This is where we're going to say the forms part. Let's give them a shout. Then we're going right.
All right.
Yeah.
No, I have another forms thing. This one was really cool. Kevin Walker, Terrell Walker, whatever you want to call him. All right. Kevin jumping in, doing senior traditional forms.
Yeah.
They were like, Alex, can you step in? And I'm like, all right, you guys understand most of these forms are going to be Japanese. And they're like, it's all right. And I'm like, okay, fine. It's not a big deal. And yeah, he was very good. He should stay in that division. That was fantastic. All right. And everybody's already said that, like, oh, he's got great forms. And it's also like, we say about Justin Ortiz, like Justin Ortiz has got great forms. Like, yeah, Justin Ortiz does have great forms, but it's hard to win. It's because not just like hard to place because they don't see you. I don't mean that. It's hard to really have championship performances when you're not regularly used to doing that, used to that performance. We're all performers. We're all competitors. The people who, I'll say it from the fighting side, right? The reason why it is cemented, I'm retired. This is not happening again. Right. It's not so much the training. And it's not like it's never the execution of a fight. Every fighter's got it's a 2-minute match. We can muster that up. That's not the problem.
Right.
It's the taxing of what the competition day brings on you. It's the whole weekend and the stresses of that. And then that bleeds into like more things that prevent dings and injuries. And as you get older, you get dinged and injured way easier and it lasts a lot longer. It is hard, right? So if he's able to perform like that, keep performing because that was great.
Right. Let's just share a funny one that happened in that division, right? So,
Yeah, it is funny.
The winner ended up not in that one, but with the weapons ended up winning the diamond. So Brett Thomason, which is the craziest thing, right? He won
good competitor,
first place. Oh, amazing competitor, and again won the diamond ring. He won. Oh, I got what you're saying, Eric. I didn't see the woman part. Sorry there, Andrew. Anyways, the diamond. He won that division with all 8s, right? And
nobody said he took first place. Yeah, he won first place.
It's a rare thing, right, to see. So that was a funny thing of like just that's something you don't see very often in sport martial arts. So all 8s.
And the moment it was done, it was like everybody said it to the person sitting next to him. After all the scores were out, they were like, "Wait a minute, did Brett just win, getting all 8s?" And you heard like everybody was saying it to each other at the same time. Did Brett just win, getting all 8s? Like, yeah, he did.
All right. So Andrew, I got you. Eric's on one. I'm just saying, well, this is the first year they actually gave a woman 30+ rings. So that's why I'm kind of like, okay. But for fighting, I get what you're saying. Yeah, being the first Canadian. So yes, congrats. We're gonna get into some fighting right now as well. So
there's a lot to get into.
There's a lot. Oh, one more thing. I want to give a shout out to Mitchell Street. This is someone from NMAC. This kid really has kind of come out of nowhere and won all of the traditional divisions in that 16-17, beating people who have won overalls many times this year, and then went on to win the grand for the traditional, and then he ended up losing that one to can you guys help me out? The kid from AKA for the overall grand. Which again was an amazing, which a lot of people have posted that picture of AKA just building around him and really going after it. So, but yeah. So anyways, yes, Lex. So congrats to him. All right, guys, let's go.
How's it going, Auntie?
I'm going comebacks, man. So
we're going right into it, huh?
The grand champion final
for the lightweight.
Tyreek Saint versus Enrique Latona.
Yep.
And bro, it was epic. It was fun. It was exciting. And I tell you, man, Ty was on. That blitz was going.
I've had this conversation maybe a dozen times now. Since, I mean, I'm not just like, all right, like the next day. I mean, minutes after the fight. Boom, that's when the conversation started, right? Because are you all right if I just jump in?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I already did.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Ty, everybody knows Enrique Latona, all right? And he did it all freaking weekend where he's going to stay consistent, all right? You can score on him and you can get a lead on him,
right?
But you are never safe. You are never, because he doesn't, and to his credit, he doesn't get tired. And Jeff, remember, my only knock on Enrique was him going down on the ground. He went down zero times the whole weekend.
Right.
A lot of fighting, 0 times.
Yeah. Yo, it was super impressive. Just the skill that he had with that leg and just the calmness he had, because literally it was like a 10-point swing. All right, 10 points straight in 30 seconds, maybe 35 seconds. It was insane.
Freaking crazy.
Yeah, because he had 6 points and then he ended up ending the match with 16. It was wild, right?
In a very short amount of time. But now, listen, what he did, so we're kind of dancing around it.
Yeah.
Tyreek Saint had a 12-6 lead deep
And
into the second round, right?
yeah, so literally for at least 3 minutes and 15 seconds, maybe 3 minutes and 25 seconds,
Yeah.
he had one of his best fights,
He
right?
wasn't just like he was scoring and it was working. Like when you look at his face, like his facial expressions, like you know, it reminded me of when Willie Hicks is on. And
Mhm.
you notice that. Remember when Willie Hicks would be on and he's like, he's gonna get it, like his eyes just like light up, they just get big. Dude, it was
Yeah.
like that. And I remember seeing that as he's starting to rack up the points, and I am like, dude, he is different today, right? So, but then when he had that huge lead, and he's like, man, I have no idea. I've not talked to him. I'm not talked to anybody close to him, anybody fought with him, so I can't say. But it felt as if he was like, I got this. Let's not mess it up. And the moment he took that step back, it gave Enrique an opportunity.
It was
Enrique
wild.
is smart, right?
Yep.
So there was when he fought for the welterweight grant, he fought that kid Eric from Merrick.
Mhm.
Okay. And that kid he's talented. He's a talented fighter, but he was doomed for a spread the moment that match started. The
Mhm.
moment, like, he showed Enrique exactly what to do to him. Enrique did it 10 times, right? Okay,
Right.
he did it 5 times, but whatever. Right. Enrique, like he's going to do, flashed a fast, hard body side kick. And the kid, when he took it, if his hands are up, he took it and he moved his front hand down to his body and rolled his shoulder over. Well, in a closed stance, you open yourself up to a hook kick or axe kick. You're basically opening that movement up to hook kick you across, and you basically turn your face towards him. And so Enrique was like, oh, okay, got it. No problem. I won't get overzealous. You're going to give that to me all the time. All right. And so he just kept doing it because he never stopped it. And I don't know if it ended in a spread. I mean, I was the center, but I mean, it was not close. Right.
Right.
So it wasn't like that. But I mean, Enrique had to work way harder against Ty. But I mean, it started making you think, like, what are the other comebacks that you've seen like that in years past? I thought about the James Poore and Jack Felton fight. That was a massive one. It was almost the exact same thing.
Right.
Jack was up 7,
something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
It was wild. Yeah. I mean, it was super impressive. You know, Brett makes that comment about he's kind of figured out his like internal clock of when it's time to go and everything like that. And that kind of makes me think of watching another Diamond Ring winner from this weekend. Completely different fight, completely different type of fight. But all weekend long, I watched Katana do that, right? And how maybe a fight that was super close, she just has the ability to score at like 3 seconds when it's going to run out, and you have no chance of even getting anything back, right? And I saw her doing that so many times throughout the weekend. In open weight, she did it like perfectly. She did it several times in open weight, did it to Katarina, and that did it not as soon in the, when she got up in the grand final for the Diamond, there was probably like 10, 15 seconds left. And so she danced and moved and avoided. I mean, she
does that better than any other woman.
Yeah, exactly.
No other woman can do that, can kill and move like that.
Right.
I don't think any other woman in the world can do it like that. Now there might be a couple other deep, Lithuanian fighters or something like that I don't know of.
Right.
Anyone that we know, she does better than everybody else.
Yeah, I believe like that's something that I saw. I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone that has the ability just to score at the very last second to win it, and really, and a lot of
Tony
times
Young usst to do it like that, but look how far back we're going.
Exactly. So like, and the other thing is that she has the ability to make people think that they're really in the fight.
Oh yeah, great point.
If you look at the fight, she controlled a lot of the fighting and where it took and what, I'm not just talking about her and Katarina. I'm just talking about in general, most of her fights. Right. Yeah. But people are like, oh, I only lost to Katana by 1 point. Okay.
Yeah, but
That
she was
that
only
happens.
trying to win by
Yeah,
one.
she's only trying to win, but she's trying to win, right?
It's
She has
it's
a big
hard,
match
you know.
time. Yeah.
Like if you fight some guys, like some guys, like the score of the match can dictate, like the score of the match can dictate what the outcome of the fight really was,
Right.
right?
Right.
I remember having a fight against Joey Greenhaw like years and years ago, like where he was just like a new adult, maybe like a year or two. And I lost, and it was a spread. It was back in the days when it was like a 5-point spread. And I remember feeling like so confused, like what the world happened? And then
Yeah.
multiple people came up and goes, yo, man, that score does not dictate, is not indicative of what the fight was like, because you guys basically clashed every single time. If you fight Enrique Latona, if he whooped you, you know it because
Well,
you lost by 12. All right.
right. Right.
If you lose to Katana
Katana. Yeah.
by 1, 2, 3, you can't really say like, man, I almost had her. It was I only lost by 2. Like that was probably by design. That whole match,
Right.
that 2-minute matches was by
Yeah.
design. I'm going to tell you right now, I was exhausted.
Right.
Centering
Oh, yeah.
that.
You center.
Oh, I'm exhausted. And I listen, I don't know how not to do this. So many people came up to me this weekend. Emily Cooper came up to me this weekend. One point she goes, Alex, just keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to take video of you judging. And I'm like, what does that mean?
Right.
She's like, oh, you're just hilarious. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, Em. She's like, your face. I'm like, thank you. I don't know what does your face mean. So then Katie, Troy Sexton's wife, she videos that fight, but she didn't video that fight. She only videoed me and then sent me clips of it. And I'm like so into the fight. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm like, get my facial expressions and my body language is like, come on, aren't you gonna do anything? Let's go. And oh my gosh, I was circling the whole time. At one point, Moshe motions for me to come up, and he's like, hey, can like you and the judges, can you guys make sure you don't like come like right in front of the camera? And I'm like, Moshe, I'm doing everything I can to make sure that I have the best possible angle for these two. Like,
Right.
this is a world championship right here. Like, I got to make sure I do everything I can. And he goes, can you just make sure you're not in front of the camera? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, I'll try. I can't guarantee anything.
Yeah.
And I think he said something to AP too, and AP like did one of these, which oh my gosh, I got some phenomenal AP and Terry Kramer stories this weekend. Gems to hang with, gems, right? But no, I mean, it's not hard to say. Can we just say Katana Everett's the best? She's the best fighter in the world right now. She's the best, right? Unless, I mean, I don't know if she's going to Bristol, and we're gonna see what she does if she's testing, right? But she is fantastic. But now, Joe, okay, you're here. I was actually just thinking about this, Joe. Interesting, you just jumped on because Katana's got the formula against Katarina. I don't know how often she's fought like Savannah, and I can't pronounce her last name. I'm gonna call her like Wolowak or whatever, right? I can't pronounce her name. And it's Savannah, I apologize.
I always mess it up, so I'm not gonna.
So she's gonna be Wolowak for now. So I wonder what that strategy would be like, because they're similar fighters, but they're not the same. You know what I mean? Like, what's her straight? Like, I would love to see a match with her and like Brianna Nurse. Now I know she's fought them all. All right. Okay, so Joe's saying she's good, but not the best. Well, Joe, put it on. I mean, it's been multiple times where like everyone's there and she's the last one there. Who's the best then, Joe?
Well, he may be saying someone overseas too. Who knows?
Oh, that may, and yeah, I'm okay with that reality.
He's just saying there's no Bailey female right now.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's fair.
That's fair. Yeah. All right.
That can be a good segue. Can we use that as a segue?
I'm just, hey, there's always going to be some positive and negatives, so we just need to say. Michelle says she thought the judging was horrible. She just felt like everything was all over the place. There was a lot of there was just a lot of like, hey, a 9 and a 4 in the same division, right? A lot of different.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of that. I have to say,
and she thought that the judging was bad all across. So, she's a great coach. She had a lot of fighters there. So
here's what I will say. about the judging. It is intentional to ensure that all competitors have the best possible option. Now, in the moment, someone can just screw it up and make a big bomb. And then it's like, all right, well, what are you going to do? Okay. And let me explain what I mean by that. So, when there was a lot of judges, and we're talking for the black belts, where not everybody was used at the same time, right? It was an intentional effort to make sure that, all right, if you're judging forms and weapons, we're just going to keep you focused on that. And if we really value you as like a fighting judge, we're going to keep you focused on that. I judged all weekend long. All I judged was fighting in that 30 plus traditional forms division. That was it. That's the only forms division I judged, was that 30 plus traditional forms division. So I really think that there was some judges where, okay, guys, this division might be going a little fast for you. Okay. And maybe you should not be judging this high level of fighting. And I feel like the same thing for forms. Like, ooh, you are very experienced. You might not be the guy for this, and it's hard, but that's the thing. And unless there's like an area, and maybe this is what we talk about, is this like a Kappa thing, Jeff? Unless there's a way where we can like say, hey, this is what's happening. What do we do? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's the only way something changes. So I guess voicing the stuff here, guys, is fantastic. Is that the moment, Jeff? Do we go into it? Let's do it, man. We're gonna get into more fighting, but Joe just dropped a bomb that we got to get into.
Well, yeah, just this was the first time where they really pushed and implemented and made several competitors in the 17 division move up to 18. So as long as you turn 18, when that happens, you have to move up. That is the rule. And so it was done. And there was, I think, 3 competitors that had to move up. Some said they were not aware of that. And, there's so much more to this situation that happened and unraveled. And again, I was not there. I'm just hearing a lot from different parents and different situations from what it was. So,
okay. Well, I mean, I can jump in and comment because I don't know the names, but I know the situations, and I feel like I can kind of sum it up. You don't want me to do it, though.
Do whatever you want to do, man.
All right. So essentially, it's exactly what you said. Listen, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what way you slice it. If you're 18, you go up.
Yep.
This is it. All right. And yeah, it's like your birthday is whenever your birthday is. Like there was some discrepancy as to like, wait a minute, when is your actual birthday?
Yes.
I feel like your birthday said something else different a couple months ago. Show me your birthday, and it was not legitimate, right?
Correct.
So,
yep.
And that was the situation. And then it's like, okay, now we're pissed. The only time I can remember when it affected like a division that I was competing in is when I remember in 2000 when Alex Davidoff was competing as a junior, when he was a junior in the beginning of that year, right? But then he also thought like, okay, well, I'm going to keep competing as a junior. Right. Similar situation. But then someone just said, it is so hard. It's so hard for juniors who are very good, right, to hide. And so they would just said, wait a minute, you just turned 18 like a month ago. You can't do this anymore. You got to go up. And he was like, all right. And just went up. And then that was the end of the conversation. Right.
Yeah. And I think it's because, so not really in his defense, but at that time he was doing 2 different circuits that had 2 different. Like at that point, he was doing NBL, which it was whatever your age is, January 1st. And even if you are 18, you can stay down. That's just what it is, right? That's funny. That is true, though.
Right. And I freaking love the comment. That was amazing.
But yeah, I agree. Make a rule and stick with it. There's a lot of people that, so there's back and forth, because the whole thing first was that, all right, if you turn 18 during the year, you can go ahead and move up early, right? And so
Like if your birthday is in May.
That was the main thing that people focused on with that rule and them changing it in a way to where you could do that. They
like
didn't
in this scenario, like if your birthday was May 5th, right?
Right.
But you're 17 in January. If you want to, you can compete as 18 now. Be giving if it's January.
Right.
But in this scenario, they just stayed competing as 17.
Right. But what I'm saying is that a lot of people didn't look at the middle part of the rule. When the middle part of the rule says whenever you turn 18, you must move up. You can't, even though the cutoff date for ages, like you compete as whatever you are after June 30th, that doesn't apply if you turn 18. You have to move up no matter when you turn 18. So there's that, right? So
what people don't understand is legally why this is such an issue, right? Yeah. And this is why NASCA is never really going to go for, 100% acknowledging that someone's a junior, but yet competing as an adult.
Right.
They have, turned their blind eye. It's happened, but nobody's going to talk about it. We're not going to mention any names. Stuff's happened. Okay. But the reason why is you can't have two different rules for former competitors and fighters. You can't. Right. So if you have a legal adult competing against a teenager, right? And this now adult accidentally sidekicks this or whatever, kicks this teenager in the throat, has a massive injury. Now you knowingly let an adult compete against a minor. Like you cannot do that, right? Just like you can't do it the other way, right? Let's say that minor goes and competes and then gets destroyed, like goes and does open weight, but they're 15. And now they're in open weight and they're fighting, and they're only 152 pounds, but now they're fighting a 250 pounder and they get knocked out. And you knowingly let that happen. Now you're negligent. Now you're getting sued big time. That's why they can't knowingly let this happen. Yes, Abeda, we all competed up as juniors.
Yeah.
There was a different legal society then. Like
now
we weren't all doing that.
Now it's where, I mean, in one of the situations, it was bad that, it was lied about and there were just extremes that we really shouldn't see in the sport to make someone stay down, right? And I hope that, I feel like we need to clean this up in our sport and we need to make sure that things like this don't happen. And, so I hope that, the right things are done to be enforced. So that way, I mean, it's bad when it is like winning at all costs, right? And that's not right. So hopefully, and again, I don't want to harp on these people to make them feel like they're the worst ever. You know what? People make mistakes. You know what I mean? And I hope that they learn from it. They get
just do it, you fix it, you move on. We don't do, and then this is like, okay, this is a learning moment for everybody.
Right.
But listen, there was a lot of rumors going around about this thing. And this is what I'm going to say, because there wasn't just this, was not the only rumor. Right. And I'm telling you, we all have conversations with everybody because we're all seeing each other for the first time in a month or 6, So sometimes that's all you constantly do, having a conversation here. You turn around, boom, you're having another conversation. And sometimes it's the same damn topic of conversation. And then you just keep going and keep going and keep going. Yeah, I know, Joe, it's not always a mistake. But what are you going to do? We're going to call it that for now. Okay. Listen, you were a part of a couple of rumors. I was a part of. I've never in my life had this experience before, where where you hear a rumor about yourself and you're like, no, that didn't happen.
Yeah, like 2 years ago, people thought I got mugged at Diamonds.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
learning opportunity. Yeah,
I've never. This is the wildest thing in the world. I watched and heard right in front of my eyes, 2 feet in front of me watched the rumors start in real time.
Right.
And went, what? And just let it. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do at that point? It's like, it's going. And I remember I was talking to Joe Boone, and he went, guys, you don't know. And then before he could even get a sentence out, it had already spread to 4 other people. And he's like, what? It was gone. It's whatever.
Right.
So
Right.
if you think you heard something about me Saturday, that was not the case. But it's okay. It's not that good. I'm going to tell you, I love this sport so incredibly much that if I could be of any use and I'm available to, and I'm at an event like that, it is my honor, truly, to help if someone feels that I could be helpful in that kind of capacity. It was a damn honor to spend so much time with Terry Kramer and Anthony Price. And they are a national treasure. I'm going to tell you, just hanging with them the whole time. It was a fantastic time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't wait to get into the what's your take later, but we'll go.
Yes. So one of the we're going to get to that next, but I do want to just say, congrats to Kevin Walker and Silvana. Both won the 30+ diamond rings. And then also congrats to Straight Up for winning the team fighting. And then Paul Mitchell.
Silvana, you were punching too much. You should have kicked more. Nobody goes. None of your social media followers signed up to see you punch. They all want to see you kick anyway. Jokes, but also, part of it's true.
I want to share something else, which was a big deal. Is Paul Mitchell, the women's team won, and they were undefeated all year long as a team. So that was a great thing to happen for your season, right? Yeah, Melissa, I agree. It's martial arts is about teaching integrity. I guess not. Some would do whatever to win, and yeah, definitely that needs to stop. Yep, Savannah from Team MMAC, congrats. And again, Kevin Walker had some great fights in that division as well. He's one of the guys. I think he fought Willie, he fought Jermad. I think he fought Trey, right? He fought everybody from ATL, from Team ATL. So congrats to him.
Jermad, he was turning the clock back Friday night, big time. He was having a successful time competing in open weight.
Joseph saying they won the team fight and they don't see their photo up anywhere. So I'm sure that'll happen, Joe. Listen,
I bet you Lindsay Little's got it. And she's live here.
Yeah, she is. She is. Yeah, Ashley Bartlett, we talked about this earlier there, Michael. Yeah, she won the Diamond Ring winner. And she also, I think, won. She was a part of a Team Forms win as well. So definitely. Let's see, man. Just a lot of comments came on at once. I'm trying to read them all.
A lot of Ashley Bartlett fans in here.
Yes, and lots of Joe Greenhall fans as well. So that's funny. Andrew, who's in charge of social media outlets?
Lindsay, wow. They look at Joe was saying that Team Straight Up won the team fight final, but they don't see any pictures of him anywhere. But that was a great team fight. That was a great strategy as far as the matchups too. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's
really on both ends too, because I kept thinking that Paul Mitchell was going to throw up Alex Macias. I thought, oh man, maybe this would be great for him to anchor this part, and then but then Devin Hopper, how you gonna not fight Devin Hopper?
Right, and that's another one we didn't share about. That was where I was getting to. The heavyweight diamond, we can't leave out, Devin Hopper versus Avery Plowden. And honestly, that was a great fight as well. And you know what, Devin, I was happy because I was actually a person who I was really pulling for to make it up there and to win this year. I love Avery's post where he on Tuesday night, he posted the text between him and his dad and his family and just, hey guys, anyone want to go to Diamonds this weekend? It was like Tuesday night. And it was like, and Dad was like, yeah, sure. how much does the ticket cost? I got it. Don't worry about it. I was like, all right, I'm in. So him and his dad went there, did it. And you know what, bro? Like, you and I talked about this several times. Like, just imagine, like, this dude is one of the greatest ever. And he doesn't fight that often at tournaments, right?
Ever.
And then he's also full-time lawyer, like he does so much. And this dude
Bailey's the only one to beat him this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, he didn't win the team fight, but like he almost did. I don't know if you saw that in the team fight eliminations, but like I don't think I've ever seen Avery land a spinning hook kick to the face, but he sure did, right?
Yep.
And I think he had it within one. He had it within one in the final, and his team was down a significant amount. Wow.
Crazy. Yeah. So just an amazing person. I know for me, like, amazing fighter, but also it's cool just to, for me, he's one of the people that just always comes up and shows me nothing but respect. Him, Cam, Kevin Walker. I just appreciate the conversations we had this weekend. So it was great. And yeah, it was great seeing
Cam Dawson is fantastic with that, because I believe that Cam Dawson believes that I wholeheartedly want to possibly make the best calls. So he doesn't tell me I'm a trash judge now. He will literally come up to me and be like, Alex, it's supposed to go like this. And we'll just have a conversation. Right. And I'm like,
yeah,
I 100%, I got you. And I'm going to focus on that. And he's like, okay, cool. And I want to be the best with that. So, but I'm also like, I'm okay if someone says, dude, you're trash. I can't believe how horrible you are. And I'm not going to get that offended. Right. Because if I truly feel like that, I will just step out. But anyway, here's the part. Okay. I'm gonna tell a mini story about the weekend.
All right, let's go.
Okay. So I'm spending a significant amount of time with AP and Terry Kramer right beside. I wanted to be. Yes, we were judging together, but I wanted to be right there. Right. So, and Anthony Price kept saying, like, it's just not the same. I mean, guys, soft, so talented, so soft, so talented, so soft. That was kind of the message, right? And not everybody, and there's some that are not, right? So, and he talked about how everybody's friends with everybody. Everybody's like, oh, it's okay, hugging and kissing everybody. And this is what he's saying. So now, if there was two people who were not going to do that to each other this weekend, it was Avery Plowden and Cam Dawson, and they were getting into it. Now there was probably a thing, but it's meaningless. That's not the point. The point is that they were heated with each other, and they knew that if anybody's going to win anything, they're going to fight each other early, right? Mm-hmm. It's just because they're in the same division. This is going to problem, right? So they were it's Friday night. They're getting into it, and they're ready to take it to the next level, right? But it took we'll call it like a pseudo uncle like figure to come in and say, guys, we got to squash this now, right? Now. And I think that they were all present for that to make that the case, right? Which is really great, but they definitely kept the intensity of, I don't like you and I want to beat you and I'm going to give you every freaking thing I got. And I think the more that we as spectators and competitors, because competitors are the spectators, right? We all win because it continues to set the tone for what the culture of the sport should be, right? As strange as it was, you might think it is. I never talked while fighting. Never. I never said a word. Never. Because that was just the culture. I never saw anybody do that, right? I never heard anybody do that. All my instructors and everybody I saw, they said, let your hands and feet do the talking. You don't have to say nothing. If you're winning, you don't have to say nothing, right? And it was a great moment to see that kind of intensity because they wanted to take each other out respectfully.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yep. Man, I mean, overall, great weekend on that. Let's go right into the what's your take, and
Oh,
sponsored by K-Tot Nationals. What's your take?
okay. I got this.
All right, here we go.
And well, I'm gonna go right back to who I was just talking about. All right. I'm glad you're in the chats right now, AP, because I asked you this question, right? And when you're on this side of the competition, you get a different vantage point. Okay.
Mm.
And now the dust is settled. Then you see everybody and you get excited for what could possibly come up, and you get excited to see old faces again. And as I look around and I'm talking, with this person, I'm talking with Mike Welch because I love hanging out with Mike Welch. I'm talking to AP, and I asked him, I said, hey, when did you know that you were going to be really good at this thing? You weren't just a competitor. You weren't just one of the hundreds or thousands of competitors. Right. When was the moment that you knew, I actually think I'm going to be really good at this thing? Not to the level of, I think I'm going to be a champion. I think I'm going to be an all-time great. Because that obviously is going to take, like, you're going to need to have amassed a number of championships to that point. Right. I just mean, like, when did you know that you were going to be really good at this thing?
Or that that you could hang with the highest people?
Yeah. But not just that, like, all right, you belong, because all of the competitors belong, right? Right. But like all of us that belong, when was it that you knew you were going to be on the upper echelon? Like, you were going to be really good and people were going to remember you. Right. When was that? I'm going to ask you, Jeff.
Oh, you're asking me? Okay.
Yeah. Because I can't tell someone else's story.
I mean, I have a weird one because it was probably like, because it's rare, especially in forums, for this to happen. But it did happen to me where I won my first NASCAR World Tour tournament, and I was coming right off of being an underbelt. And like I shared on my Instagram the week before, a question they get asked, like, what was it like competing as underbelt? I'm sure you were super successful. No, I was not. I lost all the time. I never won like a first, especially at a big tournament. I won a few local stuff, but it wasn't that same. And I remember even, getting ready and training for that, as some know, it's like I was training at John Valera's house, and his dad told me to my face many times, and my mom, he's not ready to do NASCAR yet. He's not ready for it. And so then I'm going there, and we have just the plan is, okay, we're going to commit to these first 5 events we're picking, right? And at that time, you had to do some single A and double A as well as triple A. All right. That's the highest they went to, was triple A. Okay. So we went to New Jersey. We went to Florida. Those are the first 2 single A, or double A ones. And then we went to competes. And then we went to New Orleans. And then we went to Denver. And it was like,
you don't forget nothing.
And so those first 5, I won 4 of the 5 events. All right. So the plan was, if you get in the top 5 at these events, maybe just once, maybe just twice, or just more than that, then we'll continue the circuit. That was what the plan was, because that's kind of where we thought it was going, right?
So you didn't really know if you were going to stick with this thing until, like, you were like,
right. That was
half a dozen tournaments in.
With my mom and I. All right, if you got to train hard, you got to do this. If you are consistent, you get in the top 5. But even if it's just in the top 5 in forms, and you don't get that way in weapons or fighting or whatnot, because I did everything right. But it was, but right from there, the first tournament, I go to New Jersey and I beat Jennifer Santiago in her home area, and it was just like, wait, what? And and then I go down to Florida and I make it my second tournament. I'm on ESPN. It's like, wait, this is so weird, right? But then when I go to competes, and I beat Calman, and I beat, a lot of these young kids, because I'm in the 9-10 division, and I make it to stage in the ring, which I've shared plenty of times, where I was so nervous I just kept walking back. I bounced off the ropes in the final.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for me, yeah, so at Compete Nationals, that was my first time in that. And then realizing, okay, well, this is what we're gonna do now. Like, I guess we're doing the whole season. You're gonna be a NASCAR competitor. You're gonna be a sport, you know. That was when, for me, I guess it was, well, I guess I am pretty good, right? I guess, you know,
Yeah.
because again, when you're first, second with, you know, with Jennifer Santiago, Ebony Adams,
Yep.
Guy Burkett. You know, I'm beating Guy Burkett most of the tournaments in that first year in forms. Kalman and I are kind of flip flopping in weapons. Um, you know, Ashley Lane. All of us were all in the same division at that time, right?
And
there's
all
some
of these names that Jeff is spitting out that, you know, we all know, but if you guys don't, like, because you weren't competing at that time, all of these names that Jeff is throwing out are all-time greats.
right, right. So, I mean, it was just it was crazy, you know. So to be able to have it, that was really when I thought, okay, yeah, I'm good. But again, I was so young, right?
Yeah.
When you get to that point, when you turn adult, sometimes that kind of gets, okay, am I still good? Can I,
Yes.
am I, can I keep up with this? Do I want to, you know, like, I think another one, what's your take is, where was that point? Did you ever have that point as a teenager or maybe as an adult where you said, okay, I'm done. Like, I need to stop, you know?
Yep. I'll tell
For
you
me,
right away. I
for me,
had
it
it,
was
but I
that
didn't do
97
it.
year. The beginning of that 97 year, I thought I was done because I just got on CJ on Team Elite, and then I just moved up to a new age group, and they switched all the divisions in NASCA, and it just wasn't working out. You know, like I was always first and second for the first 3 years, and it hit
It
me
wasn't
hard.
it wasn't fun for you anymore.
If I thought that, right? But I needed that. I needed that. Hey, you got finalists at a NASCAR tournament. That didn't happen. Like, because the first 2 years I was always in there.
You were
And
the
so
guy.
that pushed me, right? And then by the end of the year, it was Butch and I competing for first and second every tournament, which became one of my favorite years was 97. So I think you know, for me, I got through that moment where I thought about quitting or even just stopping competing. And then I think it's probably because I got on the team and the pressure and everything, right? And then I just completely just went and you know what? From there, I haven't ever stopped. So, but yeah, you got to compete against the best and beat them. And when you do that, man, like it's exciting, right? So,
And so here's part of what Mr. Price is jumping in and talking about that he and I got to talk a lot about this weekend is really acknowledging and accepting that, like, listen, this thing it's a lifelong art and journey, but the competition part of it, it can be short-lived. Who you're seeing, yeah, you probably saw them the last 2, 3, 4 months. It also could be like that. You may
mhm,
never see him again.
right,
How many competitors that were you would just always had a fun time hanging with, and then they're gone. You don't know how to get a hold of them. You would love to see them again. You will never see them again. There's
right.
so many. And I think just acknowledging that and acknowledging it's like here's a big miss for me. I can take a single picture with anybody all weekend. How crazy
Yeah,
is that? I
yeah.
take
I tell
you
you,
and I didn't even get a picture. What kind of world is that?
and it
Right?
was weird because we were actually at one point at the end of the night, what 1:30, 2 in the morning, we were just sitting on the couch
You're
together,
just sitting there
just
hanging, talking.
talking, just us two. And then other people came by and were like, "Oh, I got to get in on what Alex and Jeff are talking about." It's
Yeah,
kind of fun,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
But, yeah,
to really understand that and to see, like, okay, when Mr. Price is saying, like, "Hey, listen, he had a t-shirt on, he had a Nasty Anderson t-shirt on, and he said, listen, he was the best in my era. Yeah, we all have a little bit of an ego, and we all say, like, listen, I can beat them,
oh,
I can beat them.
yeah,
It is okay to acknowledge after the dust is settled. This is okay to acknowledge, like, I mean, yeah, I beat him once. He's
right,
better than me, right? So it's okay to say that, right?
right,
It's okay for me to say, like, Jason Borelli's better than me, right? That's not a shock to
right,
anyone, obviously,
yeah,
right? It's not a
yeah,
shock, like, no, Alex, you are. No, I'm not. Right? Nobody's gonna say that. But
right,
to say
right,
that, like, I think telling those stories, because without these stories that we're all hearing and telling, that's how stuff dies. Because we don't have media, right? We don't have, like I said, we were just sitting there. We don't even have a picture with each other. What were we thinking, right?
Right. One of the coolest pictures I did get to take, and I'm glad because Brett talked about this the beginning of the weekend, was that we got a picture of him, myself, Willie Hicks, and Jermad, and because we grew up competing with each other, you know, juniors. So on the NBL circuit, yes, 98, 99, 2000, 2001. So that was fun to do that, and just to see all these guys. And another person that came back, and I forgot to talk to him, was Brian Spies. I've talked several times about Brian Spies.
We talked about him on the show.
Yes, we were talking about the show, and he was like, "Yeah, I haven't been back since 20-something, whatever." And he's just got back 2 months ago and competed at the Diamonds and fought Kevin Walker.
He's that kind of guy, right? Yeah. We fought each other. I tried to play it off like I didn't want to tell him exactly, but now I'm about to spill it. All right. We fought each other once in training. This one time specifically where I had just turned 18. And at that time, I outweighed him. Right. That's how light and skinny he is. Right. And he's still light and skinny. Right. Yeah. And he gave me a concussion then. I mean, like he dropped me. I'm trying to think of the move he did. Because we were fighting a close stance, and I think as I was kicking, I think he switched and then did like one of those dive back ridge hands and just like right down the center of my face, right? Yeah, and like he just dropped. But that's what we did to each other, and there was like I didn't even know what the word concussion was, right? It was hey, you got your bell wrong, better get back up. Like I think he also broke my nose, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, it was cool to just see so many different people I hadn't seen in a while, and people that were competing that just wanted to compete. You know, like Marcel Lazenby got out there and competed again. You know, so many great so many great talent. So Mike Police had been doing NASCA since '85. The Canadian Nationals Toronto was his first one. And this was his 36th year doing the Diamond. So yeah, pretty awesome.
I don't ever really talk about juniors. Okay. I'm gonna talk about two juniors. These are fighters. Okay. You mentioned Marcel Lazenby. Marcel Lazenby is doing a fantastic job with Team ATL.
Yes.
Fantastic job. Okay. There's this junior, I believe he's like 13 or 14. I think it's I think it's Tyrell. I might be wrong. But this kid is talented. He took second place in like 12, 14 open weight, but I did not think that was going to happen. I thought he was going to continue to go forward with it. But he was amazing. All right. Mm-hmm. He's fantastic. So this kid, I believe all he has to do is just keep training and just like slowly progressing. And I think he's going to be a fantastic competitor. Yeah. The other one is this kid Caesar from Damien School on Team Diamond G3.
Yeah, that kid's good.
Listen, I made some bold statements. I'm not going to say them out loud right now because what I said, it is bold. But I will say at one point, he could be the best fighter on his team. 100% as an adult. All right. Yeah. Yes, that's right, Sam. That this kid, and he's just a cool, good kid. And he's not even a black belt.
Yeah.
You know what? I respect the fact that Damien doesn't just go, all right, I know, but here, put the black belt on for the tournament. That he won't do that. All right. I respect that he won't do that, and that the judges aren't saying, oh, you're not a black belt, you can't compete in here, you know.
Right.
Because that's great. I also do believe like you don't just put on a black belt. Like that's a sacred thing, right?
Right.
Albeit he's more than all right. He's freaking good. You know he's good.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Also,
wait.
Paolo.
AP, are you talking about
what?
Hang on, I want to know. Are you talking about Sam, the guy who used to be on Paul Mitchell, who's on ATL? Not Sam.
You mean Sean?
Sean, that's who it is.
Yeah,
because he was good too. He's so low to the ground. I
Yep.
mean, just the way God made him, he's low to the ground. But I mean, he's good.
Yeah. All right. So hold on, where are we at? Oh, I'm just gonna say, just again, a big pickup by K-Tot was to get Paola. So she had won the overall at Amerikick. She's, we've seen her since Battle of Atlanta. So great to see her. And yeah, Sean Magallanes is on ATL. We got Jermod on ATL. We got Willie Hicks on ATL. So it was cool to see all the different ones there. So big time by everybody, man. I mean, great event, lots of fun for everyone. For the most part, I'm sure there was a lot of hearts broken, like there always is at the Diamonds. I understand that realm because I was one of those this weekend. But we continue to grow and get better. So, and maybe we still have more to share next week about it. But actually, next week the plan is to talk about team demo. So we're gonna get all those locked down. I know that Mike Welch has already agreed to be on the show, so we're gonna have some fun with that. So working on getting a lot of different demo coaches from the past and present on the show. So
yeah, and it's gonna be a good one.
Yep.
Hey, I want to get one more plug as like a fighter who had an amazing performance. Mason Bumba had a great performance, right? And he didn't win his weight grand and make it to the heavyweight final, but
yeah,
freaking damn, that kid's good. All right.
Yeah.
He's
definitely.
I'll make a bold prediction and just say I think next year he wins a heavyweight grand. Now it's going to be hard to say. There's a world where Avery Plowden and Cam Dawson fight.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them or both of them may not have to be there because it's going to be hard for me to pick against those guys. All right. Because I'm probably not. All right. But I think he wins a heavyweight grand next year. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of shocks going on right here. Yep. Team Forms, Colin and Joe are back in Team Sync. You got, yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
The kid from Amerikick shocked people, so pretty cool. There's so much going on this weekend. I mean, just Diamonds there's a lot of pressure. There's people trying to finalize, their points for the year, win some titles, and that. There's people who obviously want to win the Diamond, they want to, or if this is their last tournament of the year. There's so much going on. Some that are,
or this is where you get some local competitor who comes in and screws the whole thing up,
right?
And beats like 3, 4, 5 people, and you're like, well, who the heck is that guy?
Yeah. Crazy. All right, man.
This is a great one. Can't wait for next week. We're gonna have a good one next week.
Yes, we are. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Again, guys, thanks to K-Talk, thanks to Martial Arts Center Network, thanks to everyone who came and talked to us about the show. It's always fun to hear you guys and listen. But also, just to let everyone know, we are going to be in full force at the AKA Warrior Cup. Okay,
Yeah.
So we'll have everyone from the main game. We're going to be doing some live podcast that weekend. So it's going to be exciting, going to be fun.
It's 3 short months away.
Yeah, I know. So we got lots to get prepared for. And all I know is that if I was busy this weekend, oh my God, I don't know what. So I may have to make some changes, or I don't know what. Just really plan out my whole weekend. But we'll figure it out.
We'll make it happen, brother. Come in a day or two early, or stay a day.
What's everybody got this weekend? Share in the comments what you guys got this weekend. Then we're gonna. You guys a bunch of weddings this weekend?
Well, I always got weddings I'm doing this weekend. I've got a triple this weekend. I've got a Friday, Saturday, Sunday that I'm doing.
Nice.
So those are always exhausting. So yeah, it's almost okay. We were just talking before you jump on the show. Like are you still exhausted? And you're like, yeah, I'm exhausted. And like,
Yeah.
hopefully tomorrow you'll be back to like a normal feeling of like, what am I supposed to feel like? Dude, that's what it's gonna be for me. If I do like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday wedding, all right, or like what was it like a couple weeks ago? I did a 4 in a row. I did a 4 and 4. Right, I did a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like it's a freaking lot, man.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. And one of the reasons why is because I never do this. Like if you guys saw me mix on Saturday, which hey, let me know if anybody appreciated it. And listen, if you were like, dude, you were trash, like I'll take it, whatever, right? But I was having fun. I don't sit, I don't stop. I go fast, I mix fast, I sweat through my shirt. So if I'm doing that all the way through, like it's a lot, man. It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was so tired. I didn't even want to get on the show tonight. So I'm glad you helped me convince me to do it. This is always a fun time.
Of course. So. Did you think I was gonna be like, oh man, let's take a break?
Congrats, Ashley. No. I knew you weren't. Congrats, Ashley, on a great weekend. Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of school talks. I got assemblies today, this weekend. And then I have festivals, a lot of festivals that we're going to. And then I also have the AFCA Hall of Fame banquet, which my instructor puts on. And so there's a lot this weekend with that. While I was gone at the Diamonds, my son was running, the booth at a huge railroad festival that we have here. And so we have lots of new intros and things.
Festival?
Yeah, it's called Appomattox Railroad Festival. So people don't know, like I live like 20 minutes from Appomattox Courthouse, which is where the Civil War ended, right? So there's all kinds of different festivals and things, and there's just tons of, I don't know, man. It's just a big event. Thousands and thousands of people there, hundreds of vendors. So it's a big event to meet people and talk. So they went and did that while I was competing and running around at Diamonds. And then again, yeah, we have the Hall of Fame this Saturday. So should be a fun time. And yeah, man, gonna be a lot of fun. So all right, guys.
Stay safe, guys. Keep training. Crush your events. This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you next week.